Good morning, world. It's Zilla, as Mr. Bringing you the scripture so you can see the bigger picture. All right, we're going to jump back into Luke chapter 16. We're going to finish it off. Starting at verse 19. The rich man and Lazarus. There was a certain rich man who was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. But there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, full of sores, who was laid at his gate, desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs came and licked the sores. So it was that beggar died, and was carried by the angels to Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. And being in torments in Hades, he lifted up his eyes and saw Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. Then he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, Son, remember that in your lifetime you received your good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and you are tormented. And besides all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed, so that those who want to pass from here to you cannot, nor can those from there pass to us. Then he said, I beg you, therefore, Father, that you would send him to my father's house. For I have 5 brothers, that he may testify to them, lest they also come to this place of torment. Abraham said to him, They have Moses and the prophets. They have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. And he said, No, Father Abraham, but if one goes to them from the dead, they will repent. But he said to him, If they do not hear Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded through one rise from the dead. Let's read what the Bible tells us to what we just read. Life after death. In this story, Jesus told about Lazarus and the rich man. We learn much about life after death, and especially about what happened to people who died before Jesus rose from the dead. We learn that there were 2 destinies, a place of torment and flames, and a place of comfort called Abraham's bosom. Abraham was in a place of comfort. There was a gulf between the 2 locations, so that once you went to either destination, you couldn't move from one place to the other. The people who were suffering had memories of life on earth and were aware of the choices that were made that contributed to their destiny. At this time, the righteous were not able to come into the presence of God, but were in a holding place, receiving comfort and waiting for deliverance. By looking at several other scriptures, we learn about the rest of the story of life after death. Paul wrote in Ephesians chapter 4, 8 through 10, concerning Jesus, when he ascended on high and he led captivity captive and gave gifts to men. He went on to say that Jesus ascended after the first descended into the lower parts of the earth, and that he then ascended far above the heavens, that he might fill all things. So after Jesus died, he led the captives from their captivity and took them to heaven. Before Jesus' death, the Old Testament saints who died were unable to go into the presence of God. They were waiting until their sins would be dealt with. Once Jesus died, the door to heaven was opened, and he personally escorted them in. Man, don't you love that? Alright guys, if this blessed you in any way, press the buttons. And if you want the rest of the chapter, hop in the profile after. We're going to be back next time, right on time, to renew our minds on time. I love you guys.